Right. Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Felicia, and welcome everybody once again tonight for our week 16. Wow, we've been doing this for 16 weeks, and then there's like one or two breaks in between the public holidays. So this is made possible by PRKPP, which is actually Pertubuhan Rakan Community Pendidikan Perak. Okay, so we cover different we're NGO, a coalition of NGO that it's more on a STEM activity. So we cover education, spiritual, environmental, medical, mental fitness, everything under one umbrella. So, and also in collaboration with the Fit Unit, which we have come together in this industry. Also I started from KL, and now started from KL, then moved back to Ipoh as our base. Already 11 years in the industry, to help develop individuals, to help individuals develop a good relationship with their body, especially with food and fitness. All right. So tonight, it's actually a very special session, again under the same theme of Ask the Experts. So we have different topics that we cover during the pandemic. So this is like a support group as well. And of course, we have our regular, speaker, which is Prof. Mohammad, who is very kind to spend his Saturday nights with us at 9 p.m. And tonight's topic, very, very interesting. It is to managing family psychological issues. I think especially during the pandemic. And also, we also have a few new faces and familiar faces. So we have Dr. Pauki from UPSI, right? I think you mentioned, yeah. And then there is Mr. Tan as well as new. And I think there's also Dr. Shakir who just came in just now. And there's Dr. Norai, and enjoying her retirement, especially during the pandemic. And we have also medical students and friends, I think, so from the same organization. And we want to extend this to so many people, right? And we will be this session will be also is also currently being recorded, so that we can post it on YouTube and for further review. And you can also send, if you find this to be interesting, to be helpful, please spread it to your friends and your contacts, right? Okay, so Prof, today's topic on managing family psychological issues. So the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Felicia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good evening. Salam sejahtera to all my friends. Once again, we are back with our Saturday night sharing session. So I just thought about this topic because over the last few weeks, actually, I've got family who came and asked me about how to manage their kids, their children, or family members who are having, some kind of psychological issues. So tonight I'll be talking about managing family psychological issues. Let me share my slides. Is it still disabled or is it Alicia?
Okay,
Okay
please go
now?
ahead.
All right. Okay. So this is my slide. Let me share with you. Okay. So I hope you can see it. All right. So this is with regard to, as I said, managing family psychological issues. So we are talking about what we can do at home. I just put up this slide just to give us some idea that there are actually remedies that we can do with regard to actually psychological issues, not really the mental illness. So I guess for everyone, actually layperson, for those who are trained and for those who are actually as a para counselors and para, professionals and whatnot, all can share together these so-called remedies that we can use and we can do at home, especially with regard to our family members who are actually experiencing some kind of psychological problem during this stress situation whereby COVID make us all stay at home, confine us to a particular small space, and obviously we become stressed and distressed. So let me put up the first slide. We're talking about family. Some of us have a very small nucleus family, maybe parents, mother and father, or husband and wife, and just a few children at home, maybe one or two, or maybe the most is two, three, or four. But some of us are also actually having having extended family. In this picture, we have at least 4 generations of extended family, from the grandfather to the parent to the children to the grandchildren, kind of a thing. So we always have to take into consideration that there are many people that we are in touch with in the house, within our space, especially now when we are more confined and unable to really go around, move out, and do whatever that we have been doing all this while. So obviously, with many of people around us right now, most important thing is that we need to know is all of us have personality, and different person has their own uniqueness, and their personality traits, their mindset, all may not be the same, even though they are from the same family. We may share some kind of a genetic innate kind of a predisposition, but mostly we learn from while we were growing up. Obviously, we become a new person, we become a different person than our parent. So personality, and once we have one or two personality among us, around us, obviously there will be a tendency for what we call personality clash or personality difficulties to get together, kind of a thing. Especially at this point of a time, we have to remember that if we have children of different ages and whatnot, and then we have young adult, we have adolescent, and then later we got some maybe young adults. So everyone has a different way of looking at things. So this is the usual problem if we were put together in how should I say, in a confined space in a way, because of this so-called MCOs and whatnot. So usually all this while we were able to get out and stay out for a while, usually maybe for 8 hours at least. Some of us in school, some of us in college, some of us in office and whatnot. So obviously, when we meet up, there is not much of usually so-called interaction since we come back from work or from school and whatnot. But now that we have been at home most of the time, so there may be a tendency of this so-called animosity or antagonistic kind of a situation that will crops up, especially if there are triggers, there are situations that can actually create the problem between two persons. And so if you are the one who is the middle, who are neutral in nature, who are not actually involved in the situation, so you are actually also feeling the stress and the strain of actually trying to make sure that everyone in the home is peace and harmony and calm, and no situation whereby everyone become distressed about. So I guess it involves everyone. So now we were looking at us who are more capable, who are at home and who can actually help to manage the situation with the people around us. And mind you that these people, we know each and every one of them, but unfortunately, again, even though we know them, there's always something that does not match with each other. And this could happen, especially when the kids is not able to say anything, not able to do anything, and then mom and dad have their own problem, especially when now some is not able to work, some is not able to actually bring back money and things like that. Usually there will be some kind of a problem created between the parent, and the children also suffers in this situation. Even though it's not in the COVID time, even though it's not in the MCO time, this has been going on actually. That's why we call the kids is experiencing psychological trauma, or what we call adverse situation during their childhood as an experience that they're going through. So all these things actually getting more and more now. That's why we are seeing the more people stays together, the longer they are not able to do whatever they have been doing, there will be a lot more stress and distress coming up. So this could be one of it. And the underlying reason usually, if there are many family stressors here, usually it's about the individual itself. If you can look at the individual, you have to know about their own so-called traits and their own so-called abilities and shortcomings that they have within themselves, the good and the bad that they have. So that actually could bring, as I said, the so-called antagonism between the person and others in the house. So the individual genetic makeup, the individual traits could be, sometimes based on further aggravation by stresses that is there, then things blow up into much more difficult situation, especially in the situation whereby we got now actually we got unemployment, maybe we got issues of people who are not well at home, some of them already being unwell and they have to stay at home, they can't go out and things like that. That always can cause problems. So we take note that there may be other people in the house also contributing to it. Somehow within the immediate family there may be some one or two that actually aggravate the situation. So there are many stressors, as you can see, that could actually play a part. But most important, as I said, this is the most important stressors. Usually when we have financial difficulty, I think if we are having actually our financial situation is quite strong, no other stress or stress that actually can get us into so-called emotional distress or become unstable in that sense. But when we have financial difficulties, everybody become agey, everybody becomes sensitive, and that's when a lot of this so-called mental health problem crops up. So usually it begins with financial situation. There are many other factors, there are many other issues that could crop up, but somehow people, if financial situation is actually getting worse, that will be the immediate trigger for a lot of anger, a lot of impulsivity, a lot of negative reaction and whatnot. And as you know, we basically at home, we must try to achieve what we call emotional stability, the atmosphere at home, so much so that we are at peace, in harmony, there's affection, and then the home situation is actually secure, not imbalance and things like that. And if we are feeling good, it is contagious. It picks up by everyone around in the family, yeah, including the babies also can feel the goodness of the excitement, the joy and whatnot. But if the feelings is the negative, and that could actually interfere. So it's very important for all of us now need to assess our emotional climate, what is going on at home, not only the climate, also what we call the emotional weather. So weather is during that particular day, that particular time, how the thing is that, is there storm coming in? Is there heavy rain or things of that nature coming in? That is what is very important for those who are able to, should be able to be sensitive and detect some changes so that maybe they can offer some kind of prevention. So as you know, we need to actually achieve emotional stability with people around in the home, so that everything becomes nice, become calm, and doesn't feel all the negative emotion. And if not, it will move up to the other side, which is emotional distress. And one thing that actually is easy will achieve this emotional distress, as I said, if that person or whoever it is, the personality traits is actually the person are very temperamental, the emotion is always very oversensitive in terms of anger, impulsivity, and whatnot. So that could trigger the problem within the home and make everyone else who are actually quite cool and calm become also distressed based on that particular one person who created the problem that there is. So most important, all of us need to know facts. So what I'm trying to say here is that whether we like it or not, this is what we have this kind of a forum, is actually to get us all to be very knowledgeable, to get us all to be very understandable what is going on, what is psychology, how people behave, what are the issues that crops up, and then we get to know some kind of emotional disorders, how those natural history of this depression, anxiety, and whatnot, and how does people think, the mindset. So we have to clear ourselves with this knowledge. We have to learn, we have to hear more, we have to actually view a lot of teachings or in the form of other resources that is available. So I think that is important for us because we can do prevention better if we have a better knowledge and known facts. There are quite a number of times we have myth, so-called belief that is not correct. Example like quite a number of us who are actually capable, who has actually gone into like medical student, gone into university and things like that. They were saying that it is very difficult to help, to especially for the family who's much elder and more senior than they are. They find it very difficult for them to actually intervene and to give some kind of assistance to those who are in a situation between the two in the family. So I believe it is not that true because somehow I guess it's very important for us to take note that actually we should develop our emotional intelligence. That means we know who we are and we know how we can socialize around us with people, not only with outside people, but now it is more social kind of situation within the home. So at least if we know who we are aware of ourselves, we know how to manage ourselves, and subsequently by knowing who we are able to be also aware of the social situation that we are in, and subsequently to regulate, we know how to use social skills. So these are very important areas in emotional intelligence, so that actually we can be the agent to prevent problem from escalating to a much serious problem, because we actually become a buffer, we become an intervener, we can actually assist and mediate, we can help to actually get two parties to sit down and do the better outcome of what we should expect as a family. So I believe this is one thing that most of us, again and again, we are going to emphasize on this emotional intelligence, because beside academic intelligence or intellectual intelligence, unfortunately, most of us may not actually being enhanced in our other form of intelligence, and AI is also another aspect that we need to actually enhance greatly. So as you know, we need to also have what we call social and emotional learning. This is where we can develop what we call the emotional intelligence, and subsequently based on that, we can have a good relationship skill, and we can be a responsible person, knowing how to make decision. And we can be having what we call a personal behavior of a constructive in nature. So this is the important aspect, because social and emotional learning, if we get into this ability, we can be the person who actually take charge with whoever around us, including our parents. Because sometimes during, if you know that most of us, we get into marriage, we get into parenthood without any much knowledge actually. We never really go into any formal psychological class, any formal, enhancement of our knowledge with regard to socialize relationship and whatnot. So maybe for the younger generation, like all these students that we have here, and some of us, the senior one, can assist them. Actually, it is important for all of us to share what we have got, our knowledge, our experience, so that we can help to prevent situation that we are actually hearing that is going on almost everywhere in the world globally when this pandemic COVID-19 issues, and people are stuck at home, and that's when a lot of things comes up, especially abuses, emotional, psychological, physical, sexual, and substance abuses and whatnot is on the rise. So in terms of self, obviously, you also may feel hurt, even though you are not the one who is, directly having the issue trouble, but because there are people within the home that actually cause the whole environment to be so stressful. So you must know how to actually handle yourself to start with before you can help to handle other people. So obviously, I think we need to know our stress management, how we can be, able to be a good stress manager for ourselves to start with, and subsequently we also can assist other people in our family to actually achieve distress-free situation. Distress means not even feeling stress, even though the pressure and the stress is there, or know how to cope. That is called the de-stress, de, but distress is dis. So these two situation is very important. So example here, I give you some tips there. Obviously, if you want to de-stress, feeling no stress, even though the stress is there with you, it doesn't affect you psychologically and physically. You can actually do that by seeing the situation in a proper manner, and you can actually then manipulate the situation. And then you can also see your priorities. You can learn how to take control, and then you have to figure out how to be relaxed, right? And then how to actually do exercise and whatnot. So these are important maneuvers that to be a better person, to help manage family issues, you have to also be a distress-free person. So there's another aspect of you and me that we have to have. We have to have what we call, to start with, if we want to assist anyone, even at home, we have to be a good listener. We have to be, empathetic listener. We have to be supportive in nature. We also have to be having high level of patience, and also we have a tendency. We must have the tendency to be compassionate. If we don't have those things, obviously, we are quite in a loss because we are not having any advantage in terms of dealing with the situation. So here also you can take the role, all right? If you were to look at, you can take a role if someone who want to get your help, you can be the coach or you can be the trainer. That is usually for a personal level on a one-to-one basis. But if in a group basis, in a family kind of a situation, maybe also you can use that role of a facilitator, or also actually, even though you can be a consultant to people in the home, right? Because these are with regard to the group. So this is very important aspect that we need to know what are the roles, how we can actually manage the role. And if you know how the process will be, if you are a coach or facilitator, you must know how it should be done. And if you are a specialist to give advice, then you must know what should be done. And so there are many roles of a facilitator. I want to highlight to you, I think only a few here. Possibly you can be a very good motivator at home to motivate people around and to actually offer some kind of a guide and to be an enabler. And actually sometimes even among siblings, those who have trouble and those who are much better can become partners, and also can take over the task and become the taskmaster, or even become the planner for the family. So these are the many roles that people can take. And to reach all these, obviously you have to go into a special kind of training situation, because this is not just understanding the theory, but skill based need to be practiced. Right? Obviously, we have what we call healthy coping, to cope with either to focus on emotion or to focus on problem. So there are many ways. So when we see anyone in a house having trouble, is it with regard to their emotion, or is it with regard to the problem that they are facing? So we can actually suggest what are the areas that possibly they can improve with regard to how they respond to things, how they react to actually stimulus. So that will be then emotion focused kind of a scoping skill. And with regard to problem, obviously, we can actually help to support or get support and assist them for resource person and resource availability. So obviously, when you know about these coping strategies, at the end of the day, if people have a very good coping strategies, they should not actually become distressed. Actually, coping strategies will make them build their confidence, will help them to manage their emotion, will be able to be independent. They can manage their stress, they can manage, or they can actually improve their behavior. They can regulate themselves very well, and they can work through any challenges. They are very resilient. So that's why actually quite a number of us if we were to see those who come for assistance, those who come for counseling, they have this trouble. Basically, they are not having good strategies, especially these are what we call the conscious strategies that they can do. They can see it, they can think about it, and they can practice it. There are other things that we can also help to work out that is called ego defense mechanism. Some people are using very immature ego defense. Some people are using neurotic ego defense, and that's when you are not doing it the right way, you actually become more and more threatened. You become misbehave, and that's why your behavior become maladaptive, and people around you cannot accept you as well because the way you respond to situation. For example, like you become angry, you become impulsive and whatnot, is because the way you use your ego defense. Sometimes a lot of time people don't like, so they become offensive or they become defensive. And that is a wrong way to actually deal with the problem. So if we know all this, that means at least we know how to handle people of that nature. So now we just have a look at the issue of COVID-19 and the issue of working from home. As I said, there are many problems that we have. Quite a number of time, like for me, obviously home is not the place for me to work because we never really set the place to work from home, and it has never really be our culture as yet. But if you were to look at the Western world, actually everyone is working from home. Everyone is having small office, home office kind of a thing. Everyone is actually doing their own work, not really employed by anyone else. They have their own business kind of a thing, and that's where working from home is actually quite a normal thing already for them, but not for not for this Eastern culture maybe. So if you are there in that situation, working from home during this COVID-19, obviously to prevent mental health issues, why not? Yeah, keep in touch, keep communicating with people around you using video calls so that we can see faces, right? It is nice actually to see faces, friendly faces, smiling faces make you feel good. And on top of that, take time actually to relax, to break, to give yourself a break. Come and do what we call a welfare check, right? Check on friends and whatnot, right? Or if you can use what we call all the tools that is available now. Actually, quite a number of us are actually able to have tools and technologies in our home, so we can use that. And the only thing is, to some family, they are quite unfortunate, obviously. So how can we assist? Maybe, but I would say, if our own family, I think we look into our own family. But for those family who is not able to, we care for them. We try to assist as much as we can, especially those extended family of ours, because sometimes to offer help, actually the first level of people that we should help is among our own family to start with, because we can't afford. We are okay, but our extended family members are not. They are not eating. They're having trouble, and we don't know and you don't care. I think that is things that you should not be doing. And then subsequently make sure that people know what you are doing, you are available for contact and things like that. And that these all will make you feel good actually while you are working from home. Or actually to cope from stress, obviously it's quite normal when there is a crisis. Obviously you react to crisis, being scared, being stressed. All right, but then again, you are not alone. So communicate with people, talk to people that you can trust, contact your friends and contact your family. So this is a very important way of actually managing the problem, right? If you were to stay at home, obviously try not to, having a poor health lifestyle kind of a thing. We had our first experience over the first 4 months or so. Quite a number of, including myself, as an increase in body weight. So because of sedentary lifestyle, not much I think doing at home, obviously. So I think we need to look at that seriously. That's why we come up with this program so that Felicia and Francis can assist us, can give us good advice and encouragement, and can show us the way how to have a healthy lifestyle. So try to avoid these drugs and substance use, alcohol, smoking, and try to actually, again, as I said, if you got any problem, meet up with any counselor, call up any friends, call up anyone who can actually assist you, get the facts correct. Don't just listen to rumors. Don't just listen to something that is not credible. So obviously it makes you more and more worried. So get the facts correct. As I said, facts is important. And once the fact is correct, you feel good about it. But if the facts is wrong, it makes you more and more stressed. So you have to limit your worries by lessening your time, listening to all these so-called news media coverage that possibly are also not giving a good outlook of situation. Maybe to some people who can listen to those things, who can watch all these things, they might not feel bad, but for some, maybe it's not a good time really to spend your time listening to all bad news. And then, if possible, right, we can see there are quite a number of people while in the so-called working from home, lockdown, confined space, they actually draw on their skills to kill their time and to make themselves feel good because once they are having a hobbies and they are skillful in doing things, and that make actually them more happy. So you can go and look at your so-called skill that you can draw out in this time and try to remember what are the things that you have done before and try to look up at all those things and actually get it done now when you are in this situation, right? You also can help family members during this time. You check on them regularly. These are your extended family members. Yeah, you can encourage them to keep doing what they like, what they enjoy. Not only during this COVID-19, actually. Remember also we have uh, psychiatrically or mentally ill family member. Obviously, this time is very difficult for them to do their follow-up in the hospital, to do their occupational therapy or halfway house situation kind of a thing, or rehabilitation program. So actually, we can encourage them or we can teach them, we can show them if you know how to get the resources correct, we can show the family how they can help to manage those who are unwell at home. Not only the mentally disorder, but also the physical disorder and all the situation that can be done at home. Actually, if we know, we can help to manage. Share accurate information, that is very important, and also share information, especially to the children. A lot of us were thinking that children is out of picture, they don't know anything, but actually children can feel if there is anxiety. Children can feel if there is some kind of situation whereby negative in nature. They can feel and they can see us. They can read our so-called non-verbal communication, body language. So talk to the children, share with the children, because children also have anxiety. Children also can become depressed, and children also can have a lot of actually psychological impact. And give the latest information, right? And then tell the stories of people who have experienced, if you can, just for encouragement and show solidarity, show support, right? And then obviously, don't not to forget our SOPs in terms of the three C's, three W's and whatnot, the space, the confined space, the closeness, and whatnot for the three C's, and the using our so-called face mask, if possible now, can also use a face shield, and then hand washing and whatnot. So it is very important, yeah, adhere to the so-called SOPs for the MCO. So another important aspect in the family is the elders in the family. So they may stay with us, so have a much closer observation and monitoring with the elderly family members, because sometimes we don't realize that they might not be actively socializing with us. So we need to be the one who actually get close to them and see what are their needs. So that is basically, Felicia, what I want to talk about. All this is basically a run through. So if you need further so-called understanding of how to deal with it, then we can ask question right now. So I'm going to stop my sharing uh, so that then we can go for the discussion.
All right. Thank you, Prof, for the again insightful session. So maybe I can do another quick request. If anybody that's still online with us, we have like 12 people on the call. So it's good to turn on your cameras. At least we can see everybody. Yep. All right. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So this is one of the part where we can actually support each other in terms of connecting with each other, right? I like the 15 minutes virtual coffee. I think we should have like coffee session. You know, everybody has their teh tarik or coffee or, you know, healthy drink or whatever it is, and yeah, have a chit chat. I think that's good. Uh, who's that on the call? I think the name is Fatin Adiba, but I don't think that's Fatin Adiba. Can I know who is that? Maybe you can intro
So
yourself.
that okay, I invite Fatin Adiba,
Uh-huh.
a doctor,
Oh,
our actually dental surgeon.
hi.
Okay, Dr. Fatin, can you just possibly?
Yeah, I'm the husband.
Oh
Hello,
yeah, that's
everyone.
okay, Effendi,
Ah,
Effendi.
I
Okay,
see. That's why I'm like,
Effendi,
okay,
Faris
I
Effendi.
don't think
Okay.
Fatin Adiba is a man.
Okay,
So,
okay. All
Actually,
right.
she's with me, but I cannot show her.
Okay, sure, no
okay, okay,
problem, no
I think
problem.
you
got it.
know already.
My
Okay,
head
okay,
cover.
no
Okay.
I
problem.
see, I see. Thank
Okay,
you for
thank you.
joining
Hi,
us.
Dr.
Thank you
Yeah.
for joining us,
So
right?
Faris and Dr.
Okay.
Fatin is actually in Sri Skandar.
Oh, nice.
So actually,
Okay. Yeah, we have from Batu Gajah, we have from Ipoh, we have, I'm in KL, so there's so many different places. I think, yeah, this is one of the good ways. As you know, the first thing I think is to really take care of our own well-being, and also from there we can take care of our family. I think that's very important. Maybe like Prof, maybe in summary, um, uh, how would you maybe give some tips, maybe a couple of tips on how does one, um, you know, put to task, like you have to sort of take care of yourself, but you also have to take care of your family. So maybe you can give us like 3 tips on that.
okay. I think number one is we should know ourselves. We should be, as I said, the agent of change. We can make the difference. But to be that level, to be an agent of change, we must have a very positive mind about ourselves to start with. And then we must actually looking for knowledge, looking for all the time, understanding what is going on and be sensitive to things around us. Because I think if we can take the leadership role, I think that would be fantastic. Because once we are here, we are supposed to be, as I said, we want to be more and more knowledgeable. We want to share with each other. We want to be a resource person at home. So that will be number one, the attitude and the change of the mindset that we can make the difference. You and me and everyone who wants to listen, that is very important. The number two aspect is that, okay, I guess this is the right time whereby we can start developing a proper relationship among us, among the family. Maybe all this while we take things take things for granted. We come in, we are at home, but then we go to work and then we come back and everything becomes so routine that we are not really close to each other. We are there, as I said, we have a house, but it's not a home. We have family members, but it's no relationship. So this kind of situation has become, and the irony, the paradox that we are listening, situation whereby we have everything right in front of us, but we never use it to the best we can. So I think this is a good opportunity. And I think the third opportunity is that because if we can be the person who actually become the agent of the buffer, I think things can be much better. Uh, a lot of problems can be solved. It is concerted effort. It cannot be individual because remember, in a group, in two or three or four, obviously there must be collaboration, there must be cooperation, there must be sometimes somebody insists or somebody can be coercive to actually make people better. But most important is respect each other, actually be humble with each other, but with the idea that we want to better the situation that we are in. I believe whatever that we are trying to say all this while over the last 14 weeks is because we are trying to develop the whole picture of becoming a much better person. I think that is what I believe.
Yeah, I think that's an entire topic covered, I think last couple of weeks, I think. Yeah. So we can
Yeah.
always refer back to that. I think that's really good. Yeah. And also because since we are on the family, psychological, how to balance and how to manage, right? Stress and everything. But so let's go back to like maybe in the household there is the wife and husband, right? Mother and the father. So sometimes in cases everybody takes stress differently, like partners, right? So it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. So if anyone is feeling, let's say in giving a sort of a case study, so if one of the partner is feeling like they need help in certain ways, maybe it's emotional support, maybe in terms of like what you mentioned, financial and things like that. So in your opinion, maybe you can give some also tips. How does the partner ask support from the other partner? Because sometimes it's not easy to deal with having to take care of the whole family and then try to keep afloat and things like that. So yeah, maybe you can give some tips on that.
The first rule of actually having a partner, or the first rule in marriage life, and the first rule of being together, agreeing to be together in the contract, is actually to communicate with each other. I think if we don't have any form of communication, that is a problem. Even from the very beginning, we thought that, okay, I don't need to tell, you should know me. You just see how I was all this while. I think you should be able to read me. So that that is really a myth in that sense, because nobody can really understand you without you telling what it is all about. So if somehow, if the husband is having trouble and doesn't want to open up and doesn't want to say it out loud, feeling that, it could be ego threatening, it could be a shameful thing, or the wife is having issues too and doesn't want to open up to the husband. So I think that is the key problem in the situation that we are talking about. Husband and wife does not communicate sincerely, does not communicate truthfully, does not really actually, in a way, I would say, they are together, but they are not together. So this is the issue. That is number one in terms of communication. Number two, actually put things, once you can communicate, you have to put things on the table. Everything about it must be clear, must be on the table, so that both parties can see it clearly. Both parties then can work together to actually deal with the problem. I mean, there's no such thing as, okay, I'm the only one who should be doing it. I'm the only one who knows best. I'm the only one. Because if you say you know best, if you say that you can deal with it, then how come you have a trouble there? How come you're having a problem? This is where the signal of saying that you are not actually perfect. You are actually people who also need help. As I remember this in two parties, in a person, in a community, or together in a family. Obviously, we can be independent, but we actually can never get away from interdependent, because we are still very interdependent to each other. And husband has their own role, wife has their own role, and husband and wife actually have roles with the children, and the children have roles as the siblings, things of that nature. So we have to be actually at the upper hand, especially mom and dad are supposed to be the leader, assisting each other, supporting each other. So I think that is the issue here. I
Communication,
know,
right?
yeah,
And don't expect somebody else to be a mind reader. So you have to express and communicate openly.
yeah. If I can ask Dr. Pauki is also in the field of so-called faculty of, yeah, Dr. Pauki, introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm from Faculty of Human Development, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris.
Yeah. So can you answer the question also?
We can share some of
You
your
can
views
share
and thoughts
your
and
views
how.
and your.
Oh, related to the relationship, to be honest, like a lot of points that Dr. Prof Mohammad said just now, I totally agree. Actually, especially during COVID-19, it's even chaotic for the family. Like for myself, I'm like working from office the whole PKPP. Actually, I'm not working from home. So my kids have to stay in the house and they have to do the online learning. So it's kind of like tricky for me. It's like I went to the office and then I had to taking care of the online at home. So I really need help. Like, so that's why like communication is very important. Like which part, like I'm in the office, so I need someone to assist me in the house with the kid. So I need to communicate with my husband on how we can kind of like delegate the works. So it's not all coming from me. So it's kind of reduce a little bit burden in there. So understanding and communication is always important. And also don't expecting like, if you not communicate, don't expecting your partner understand you. So the most important, because sometimes like we are thinking, come on, I have been married with you like for 10 years. Why you didn't understand me more than that? So even 10 years, I think this is still a lot of things like we are still in the learning process for us to understand each other. Yeah.
We are still having a lot of secrets actually.
I think all the seniors in the group are like smiling and nodding. Yeah. But thank you for sharing that part. I think that's very important. I think it's okay. Everybody takes up responsibility and share the responsibility. I think you work as a team, right? And it's not like, oh, it's like if the kid is doing something wrong, it's your kid. If the kid has achievement, it's my kid, right? So I was discussing this also with my friends who are also balancing chores and responsibilities at home, especially if sometimes the wife or the husband is working in the office and then the one has to settle everything at home and kind of thing. Yeah, so it's at the end of the day, it's like teamwork, and you want to work things out. Okay, that's good. That's good. Any questions from the floor? Anybody has any questions regarding maybe any family matters? Or if not, I will jump into another little bit of subtopic since
there are quite a number of chat, I would say. Is there any
chat.
questions on that?
Oh no, it's just I think introduction and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe Dr. Narayan. Yes. Please unmute yourself. You can ask the question. Please do. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, Prof. Mohammad. As usual, a lot of facts that we learned from you in all your session. I have a question that we heard that so many divorce cases happen during this time, even those who has been married for 40 years, and this is a time they ask for divorce. Can you elaborate why this happened? COVID-19.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Actually, what you see right now is the pail is already full. When the pail is not full, people can still absorb. So now, it actually there is a chance in the confinement situation right now that the filling of the pail is faster. So when the pail that we are carrying, the burden between the relationship, the issues, and that's why we can see now getting more and more faster decision making is coming up, even though it could be an impulsive decision making. Always remember, it is not at that particular cross-section time that actually lead to this issue, but basically it has been going on for a long while. So this is what we call, it has been in the formulating of a problem, actually, we must know these 3 P's, as I said, the predisposition, what kind of a person he is, the innate nature, genetic predisposition and things like that. And then the perpetuating issues that goes on for a long while. And subsequently, when it gets full, the precipitating at that particular point of a time, that thing overflow. And that overflow, that is where the decision making, which could be very irrational, it could be very, but you must know, as I said, the issue is it has been going on for a while. It is not about that situation. It is about actually the past that has been carried forward. The baggage is getting more and more, we're not able to actually be carry anymore. So people just drop the baggage. And that's when you can see this situation. That's why last time there is this coping arena, whereby people can run away from the home. People can go out and actually get into a better coping skill, coping style. Example, do games, go and watch football until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So that is how they escape. They got the escape route, they call it. But now they cannot go anywhere. That's when the trouble is. And especially when they don't have money, it is much easier to push people to make that kind of a irrational decision. So I guess it is, as you know, COVID is not just hurting people physically, bodily kind of a thing, not just a respiratory distress problem, but psychologically and spiritually. A lot of people gone into even, this so-called commit suicide rate has gone up. Quite a number of them are actually among those who have actually loans to pay, and they were not able to. They become actually so frustrated, so hopeless, so helpless, and so some decide to take their own life because I think they say there's no way out anymore and nobody can help them out. I think these are the issues actually. So if you want to know further, maybe you have to ask them directly what are the areas or the issues that they have. But I think that is my impression.
think that
Does it
hopes
answer your question?
answer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's also like just a top up from what the question was actually I think because currently just want to bring up the it's actually we started on the 20 was it 25th of November, yeah, to the 10th of December. So it's 16 days of activism. So I've been involved in some more active lifestyle recently. So besides just running, we want to run for a cause sometimes. So I'm involved with this Kebaya run. It's under the Malaysia Women Marathon. So my team and I are basically involved in wearing our kebaya and sarong, so men and women can join. And we run to raise funds for Jewel Malaysia, which is a NGO based in Johor that aids abused women. Yeah, so this is also another very kind of like a definitely there's more cases like this that, I mean it's already there, but because of the pandemic, like divorces and also forms of aggressions are being shown and things like that. So this has affected family members. It's not just physical abuse, it's also mental, verbal, and also we cover things like how sports and then how it affects women. Like for example, I'm doing a lot of road running, and there are a lot of experiences of how women are being harassed when just doing sports, doing something harmless, right? And but yeah, definitely more like aggression in the family, yeah, because of financial, because of stress and things like that. So yeah, so we hope to maybe like talk about more about this and how people can actually seek help and communicate. I think it's that is another, that's maybe back to your past few topics that you covered on psychological traits and personality disorders. Yeah, so that is also from the pandemic, right?
Our problem is basically how can we actually get close to this problem person, because they don't come forward to us.
Yeah.
And I think those who come forward are those who really want to be
Oh.
better,
Mm,
those who want help, so that it will be easy for us. But now what is our role in terms of actually working on those people who shy away, who doesn't want help, but yet they are the one who actually cause a lot of social issues within their home, with people around them, and of
mm,
nature. So somehow I believe, well, as I said, if they don't reach into us as you do, we have to reach out to them.
yeah.
So I think there is a role there if possible, because right now you can see homelessness is getting more possible, and
Mm,
unemployability is getting high now. And to get back, and then I think business issues, the small businesses, even the big business are actually having trouble getting their financial stability. So I think everyone is actually is in the problem, but are they coming for us to get help or to seek help? This is where I would say Eastern versus Western culture, Eastern versus Western people. Maybe there are some issue here, because our people don't like to talk about personal issues, don't
mm,
like to actually bring themselves down, maybe don't like to be stigmatized, maybe. So this is because government, Ministry of Health, quite a number of agencies actually have called out for people to come forward.
yeah.
But the response is possibly again, the issue is there. So now how to actually get, that's why I was saying that all of us somehow should be a facilitator. Like for you, if you know a friend and the friend then subsequently get to know his friend, then his friend maybe know someone who really seriously need that, then that's how we get to link to each other. At least we teach him to be a good facilitator, then he can facilitate that person, he can assist that person. So in terms of group also we can do that. Yeah, Dato' Nur, right?
Yes, Prof. To be close to them and help them, we need to be skillful. So how do we take the course to be the trainer, the coach, and the facilitator? Can you tell us?
Yeah, okay. That's why, as I said, we have those things in the pipeline. Actually, quite a number of places. Like for me, also, I'm actually involved with another group, another friend from Penang. We actually having some courses in one particular university that to do this called so-called facilitator kind of a training, first aider kind of a training. So I do have quite a number of friends back in Penang that we are actually doing it. Unfortunately, based on this MCO kind of a thing, we do have students already that want to come in, but we have some difficulties to initiate that. And I believe like even Dr. Pauki also possibly, Oopsie has got some program again to facilitate and to actually train a lot of us to be able to do that, especially the lay person. So that will be the university level, but among us also, I guess, example like myself, Francis, Wong, and then Datuk can also join us and things like that. We can organize our own courses actually. We can use our own facility. We don't need to get so big. We don't need to go for very formal, but at least we get a group that could actually subsequently expand, and then everyone can be better in terms of their skill to handle. Because until unless we start exposing people, they are actually not so sure about themselves. So I think one of it is right now here, if I were to say that, some of my students are making more and more clear, more and more knowledgeable, and I believe they're also quite more and more able to talk things out, and hopefully they have become more and more able to also assist their friend. Even though it takes a while now, it will not be easy, it will not be immediate, but at least we start this movement. Yeah. So true enough, it's not going to be easy, but we are there at the back. All of us actually are very experienced enough to assist. Actually, so I hope all of us can be a good teacher, coach, trainer, so we can put ourselves together the way we see it. Right?
Yeah.
So there's no wrong and right way of doing it, but then we must be effective. We must be efficient. I think that's important.
Do you have a name for this organization? Like we have like Befriender team, but for you helping these people in need, do you give a name to the people?
Actually, back in Penang, we are actually affiliate with myself, affiliate with the UK group, and this UK group affiliate with one of the university in Penang. And so actually we have our own personal group there. We call it the hypnotherapy group. So we are actually running that kind of a program actually there. We have clinics there. We have people who actually comes in and do their clinics in the places there. But that is only on the weekends and on our own personal time. That could be one of it. I think like here in Ipoh, I was actually encouraging Francis, Felicia, the feed unit in Greentown. We can make that as our station. So I guess right now the issue that what we're doing is actually we are now promoting this program. Once we have the people, we hope people actually, even one person, even two, it doesn't matter. Once we can be together, it's good to do the training together. But we can still do the training online. Doesn't matter. But I believe that is what we are trying to do right now. So based on PRKPP and Feed Unit Enterprise that we have, and actually in UniKL also myself with my gang, our psychologists and a few of our medical assistants from the ministry, we have our own enterprise also dealing with that programs actually. Many programs that we promote, we want to actually get people to come in. Unfortunately, with the MCO, so everything it appears to be a little bit on the slow part. There is, but I would say I would introduce. Now I think I would introduce this platform. And with this platform, I believe we can always communicate with each other, WhatsApp with each other, find ways of how to handle problems, because training need not to be that formal, but at least we keep sharing, we keep actually guiding through our WhatsApp and whatnot.
By the way, like I think pre-MCO, we had a few sessions in our center in Ipoh, offline, right? So yeah, maybe we would bring that, we could bring that back. And we do have a little Instagram page set up as well. It's actually called Little Friends. Littlefriends.my, right? Yeah, so I feel that we can be a friend. You can find you can everybody can find a friend in, you know, in somebody, right? So you have a friend in me, right? I think that's the song. So yeah, so under Fit, because Fit Uni is more of a umbrella and PRKPP is an umbrella as well. So so yeah, we created something a little like Little Friends. We have like our mental and physical group and things like that. But I think Little Friends could, you know, take off now that, you know, Dato has mentioned it. I think maybe we can put our heads together to probably run our online first aider, facilitator, what to do in case of, you know, how to reach out to people, or if people reach out to you, how do we help them? And of course, first and foremost, how do we help ourselves? Definitely, yeah. I think that's important.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, because if you want to promote, you must recognize this body. Like Little Friend is something very cute name.
Yeah, and it's like yeah, because we want to cover, like, you know, mental health, we want to cover physical, yeah, body, mind, spirit. Yeah, I think that's our angle from the beginning. So sometimes it takes some time to sort of marinate the idea, you know, and then, you know, when the right people come around and have the same passion, I think, you know, it will take off. So hence why we are like, you know, on like, let's just do something, you know, to sort of keep everybody, like, I think because everybody have different levels of, like, you know, stress at different phase now with the whole, you know, CMCO and things like that, you know, interstate travel ban and things like, so yeah, more need, definitely there's more need in the market. Yeah, so we can definitely take it on the WhatsApp group, if anybody is interested to, you know, put our expertise together, and also your opinion. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you're a student, you know, in the medical line, you're retired, you are, you know, a trainer, coach, just somebody who is passionate about, you know, making, you know, creating something, a little community. I don't, because sometimes when you want to approach a bigger organization, because they have something running already, so it may not be something that you know, we cannot say, oh, we can tell a friend, hey, you know, you can call, but sometimes, you know, that person knows and like you and trusts you, hence why they're approaching you in the first place, right? Yeah, so I even have friends that ask me, and I'm not even, you know, I say there are professional help, like, which are the friends seeking professional help already, so they just ask, like, what can she do to help her friend, to encourage and support, because that person, that friend started to open up to her. Yeah, so we are all definitely, you know, be needing all these skills in order for us to really, you know, help to support each other in this time. Yeah.
I guess our so-called recordings and whatnot, I understand that people possibly look into it, the views and whatnot. I guess that could be one of the way to promote. If people see that more and more people are, you know, viewing that recordings and things of that nature, possibly the interest will be getting more and more. People also want to listen and hear that. We need to promote maybe that part of it too. Because right now, if we don't like and share kind of a thing, obviously it will just go a very small group of people.
Right.
So hopefully, if, as I said, it's a compounding kind of a thing, is I can get like 5 or 6 of my friend, and then individual 5 or 6 of them will get another 5 or 6. It's a very compounding kind of effect. So I hope that is how we spread, because we don't really need to go and go out and look for all these people, because at least we got 2% also good enough.
Yeah.
If we spread by 2%, I think it will go very big. It go, you know, it go very wide. I think that is the idea. I believe at least if people can communicate, then we get a better understanding of their needs and, you know,
Yeah.
what we can offer.
We do have our WhatsApp group and also our Instagram, so we will put all the links there and also our YouTube link. So please do look forward and also share this, and rewatch any of the sessions. So that will be very helpful for us if there is a like and share, because these are all ways to, open up doors for people to actually get help. I think so there's a bigger picture, there's a bigger mission out there, right? Yeah. So at least we are, we are grateful, we are home, we are safe. And this is the something that we can do. Like, volunteerism or caremongering is not just something we do in a big way, but in a small way. This is something that, sometimes to support and also share, and open up doors for people to actually reach out.
Yeah,
Thank
Dr.
you so
Pauchi.
much. I think this one is a great platform to kind of like to gather all the experts and maybe those who are interested to help others. So I'm here. Maybe I think I have joined in the very right time in right place. Thank you so much, Prof. Mohammad, for the invitation. Actually, so because right now, actually in UPSI, I have formed a team of psychological first aid, which is led by the students. So they are very interested kind of like to join in and wanted to help others. So they have been went through the first line of the trainings for BFA. So I'm thinking like if you got any opportunity, maybe it's like for the university to collaborate with NGOs, and I can just bring in all the students who are interested to learn more. So I think there is also another way for us to spread the awareness and the informations on how we can like work together to help the community.
Wow.
I mean, everyone want to be an able person. Everyone want to be a skillful person, because everyone actually has a very good heart. I think we have it. The only thing is that we don't know how to use it, because we don't feel that we are actually having it to do it now. I think that's where we are wrong. It is actually a myth. All of us can be, in a way, in a very small way too, an assistant to someone. Yeah, Francis.
I think it'll be good that you can draw out some of the basic training, then we can actually start some online classes, so that you see a lot of volunteers out there actually. First of all, normally people who come into this psychological training, normally they want to solve their own problem first. So if they can solve their own problem, then they would like to help other people. So it's always a compounding effect. It's like a go-giver thing, you see. Because if you start to give, the person who receive will give further. So you can come with a minimal fee, because everything there's a cost. Okay, so I think people are willing to pay, because we actually need more passionate professionals, in really running the show, because then we can actually because, like, for example, we are the health coach. We meet a lot of people out there. Sometimes we can size a person up. Actually, for example, if a person come for example, weight management, but basically most of the time it's not about eat less and train more. It's all psychological related actually. So they are stressed at a certain level. So with that kind of so-called psychological so-called knowledge, I believe they were able to so-called solve their problem even faster and less painful in the sense, Of course, there are many other issues where the stress become further, and then anxiety, and then further depression, and then further then suicide. So these are the sequences. So if we put on the process, so we actually block them from one way. We need them earlier. So other things won't come out. It's just like obesity. If a person craving, if we don't cut the craving, the person will not lose weight. But in order to do the intervention, we need to do the exercise, we need to do the psychological motivation and inspiration, and also the nutrition therapy, right? Otherwise, they will get into trouble, then they go into a wrong intervention, you see. They want to escape, so they may swallow some tablet, or they may go for some so-called bariatric so-called intervention, which is not necessary at this moment yet. You know, so I think it's very good. I really I'm very inspired, you know, by you guys, you know, who are trained in psychology. You know, when there's a crisis, normally I see that in fact it's a psychological crisis. But then the psychologists are not appear, you know, doesn't appear. So it means that there are not enough people who actually communicate with their psychological people, you know. So this is a good start. So I think we have been a while already thinking about how to kickstart something. So maybe Dr. Porky, maybe you can since you're already organizing that kind of training, so you can collaborate will be very good. Then we want to so join together to promote to do the marketing or so-called not it's just a promotion to shout about, let more people. I believe every home there must be a wellness coach. There is a family doctor, there's a family coach, there must be a family psychologist, or somehow a person who understands, you know, who are able to identify someone need help, you know, before it explodes. So I think it's good. Then we actually complete the person who understands psychology, who understands so-called health literacy must be enough. Health intervention also must be good. Mentally, physically, wow! I think the world will become healthier. Right. So this is in line with the standard goal development, the SDG, the development goal 2030. Number 3, good health and well-being. So I think we are very sustainable now.
Yeah.
So really good. I hope we can you know, kick off somewhere, do some coordination. Then we can next year we can start off something like that. Okay. Then Felicia will be able to do the social media part to help out lah.
Okay, by the way, they are already put in the chat for those people who are not in our WhatsApp group yet. So we have our mental and physical chat group, and also the Instagram link is also there. It's instagram.com/littlefriends.my. So you can follow us there. And yeah, and let's get this started. Let's talk something. Let's discuss about different things that we can do throughout the week as well. Like, I really still would like to go back to the idea of, like, you know, the virtual 50 minutes coffee, you know, session. I think that's good. Or healthy breakfast, online breakfast club, you know, that we been having. I think for the last one of the 12 weeks, I think me and Coach Francis have done the exercise for school kids. So we've been doing a lot of things, and sometimes these are not being, like, you know, just very like internal. Only the people involved knows, right? So we want to create more of this kind of things so that we can actually reach out and connect. So yeah, please do join us. Let's extend you know, our little sharing weekly to something that it's more fruitful, so that we can reach out to more people. Yeah. So today we have been talking a little bit longer than usual. Usually we end about 1 hour, so no problem. This is a really nice I think discussion with Dr. Porky, who is you know, really giving you know, extending this invitation. I think that's great. And then Dr. Narain, who brought up a very good you know, really common issues that's happening right now, and feeling the need to do something about it. And of course, there's Prof. Mohammad and you know, Coach Francis. And thank you so much, everybody, for, you know, joining. So let's you know, put our heads together to, you know, talk about it, and also, like, really just plan something out so that we can do something in the next coming 2021.
Okay, sure.
All right. Yeah. So
Okay,
let's take
thank
it to the chat group, and then we hope that everybody continue to take care of 3 C's: confined space, crowded, close contact, right? And be fit, stay healthy, eat well, sleep, you know, get hydrated, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and stay safe.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good night,
Thank you so
everybody.
much.
so much.
Good night. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night. Assalamualaikum.